Good morning, boys and girls. It is 10 a.m. here in Zurich, almost awake, honest, and I'm going to stream some Airships development. As you can see, I'm just trying out different times of day to stream, partly because I'm not an organized person, and partly because I kind of want to see at what time people want to see me stream. So if you're on the west coast of the United States and you're still awake at midnight, you might want to see this. I don't know. So yeah, let's get started with Airships development. So what did we do last time? Last time we worked on a bunch of things. Specifically, we fixed restless leg syndrome, and we hopefully dealt with what should happen if an airship flips horizontally. So turning on screen capture. And here I am. Hello. Okay, so this is our to-do list. So we've dealt with flipness, we've dealt with restless leg syndrome. Now we've got some other related things, which is this kind of stagger response concept that a foot is allowed to reposition itself if it's lost its footing. So let's see about that. So first off, I'm just going to see that I can demonstrate what I actually mean. I'm also just going to double check that everything's set up correctly. Yeah, okay, that's believable. Cats are chasing each other across the flat. Cats are meowing. Oh yeah, so there's not going to be any more background music because I totally forgot about copyright. So the music I was playing yesterday, of course, I wasn't really meant to be streaming, which means that it blanked out most of the audio from the previous stream after the fact. So there's not going to be a YouTube version of that one. It's going to be the famous lost episode, I guess. But from now on, there's just not going to be any background music, at least no background music which I haven't vetted actually have the rights to stream. And so that should get rid of that problem. Oh yeah, the nice thing about this is I'm syndicating all of these things to YouTube, so even if you're not watching it right now live, you might be watching it at some point later through YouTube. Right, so staggering. Combat mode. Let's see if I can provoke the problem I was talking about. Yeah, that. So that was sort of okay, but still, like, it just sort of it doesn't try very hard to actually get its legs back into a useful position. Now it's stuck against the wall. Yeah, that. See how those legs just sort of, they're not trying to find a footing, and that's bad. So basically what needs to happen is that a leg that's not connected to the ground should act independently and out of turn to try and reconnect with the ground. Yeah. Flamethrower that thing. Look at the lovely dynamic lighting. Isn't it pretty? Yeah, well, this is evidently quite a good design of a land ship. Let's make it better at walking. Oh yeah, iPad of talking to people. Also shutting down of this and telling people on Twitter that the stream started. I'm organized. Yay, that was the correct link. Okay. And yeah, going into the chat canal so I can see if anyone has any questions. Awesome. Okay. Carrying on. Getting the legs to position themselves. Okay. That's a module. Here we go. So this is the core loop where it actually does the movement of the legs. So it goes through all of the legs and it says if this leg is the leg that's currently the one that's moving in the gate, then we call do step on it. And otherwise we just call update position. So all that does is it just adjusts the the angle in the leg. So we're going to want to have something more clever than update position here. Basically we need to detect is the foot just sort of dangling into the air, and if yes, we want to move the foot to a position where we want to find a position where it's no longer dangling into the air and move the foot to there. And so the way we're doing this in do step is that we're just brainlessly going through a lift, move across and down movement, eventually ending up at target X and starting up with source X. Okay. So Okay, so this updating to find footing again is almost going to be a bit harder because it sort of needs to do it dynamically. It may have to retry getting its footing multiple times, but then again, it doesn't have to do it too dynamically. Like if it's staggering, it might even look quite good if the feet sort of have to do a couple of tries before they actually hit the right place. Okay, so let's start out. Gonna pass in the same values, and by default we're just doing update position, and that's not the case if we are being if our foot is kind of in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so how do we do this? We need to ask the world if our foot is connected to anything. So double ground y equals we're going to need hip y here. Okay, no. So by default the ground is somewhere infinitely far down. But then we're going to go through all of the possible land formations, so that's basically mostly looking at the ground. There, I completely lost my place, apologies. There. Right. The question is if the ground y is greater than the target y, then the foot is off the ground. And we're just going to add a little bit of fudge factor here. So if the foot's only off the ground by a small amount, it doesn't care. So if the foot is off the ground, then what do we want to do with it? Well, really what we want to do is we just want to adjust the Y position so it's on the ground again. So like the simplest option is to just say something like that. So if it's possible that we just need to move the foot down a bit and keep it on the same X position, then that works. Just going to print out the thing for when that happens, so I can see if it's actually, oh well, it's not going to, because I still need to call that new function from module. Okay, let's see what happens. drink more coffee. Yeah. Okay, I should have zoomed in more so you could have seen it, but it was doing the stagger response. Can you climb the hill? Yeah. Okay, so now in slow motion, go down that hill. And we will hopefully see some instances of this new response where it repositions the foot. Or maybe not. No, it just does it cleanly and uncomplainingly. Did it first time. Come on again. Okay, come on. High speed, scramble down that hill. Yeah, there we go. And you can see it looks a lot better. It has the kind of momentary, oh god, oh god, oh god, I'm losing my footing. And then it manages. Okay, so that works. Let's see if we can do a more extreme example. Yeah, with a tree. Oh, that reminds me. In the to-do items, transfer landship weight. To ground, so that bushes and leaves get trampled. Right, because it's the giant 50-ton landship shouldn't be able to balance on a single bush. Whee! Yeah, that's okay. Okay. So, okay, here's another thing which I'd like to do, which is that right now, when you get this really awkward kind of falling down moment, it really stretches out its legs. That looks weird. Would make far more sense if instead of stretching out, and the reason it looks weird is that the fake spring the leg is that's in the leg isn't as long as the leg as its maximal extension. And what that means is that you see the ship kind of falling down and its limbs actually intersecting with the ground before it lands, and that looks really bad. So I should tell it to actually scrunch in its limbs when they can't find a footing at all, which will mean that when they do find a footing, they will immediately contact, and the springs will immediately start working. That will look better. Okay, and we can also put this into move non-step foot. Okay, so if the ground is further down than the target, then we will be footing. If so if it's further down than the spring, we're going to completely reset everything. We're going to say target x equals hip x. Okay, so it kind of scrunches in its legs. So it has two responses to losing its footing now. If it's lost its footing a little bit, and the ground's in reach, it's just going to stretch out its foot to reconnect with the ground. If, on the other hand, it's really lost its footing, and the ground's no longer in reach of its spring, it actually moves back its feet, waiting for the spring to reconnect before it does anything. I think that works. Let's see what happens. So as far as I can tell, there isn't actually anyone watching the stream right now, which is fine because, as I said, I'm syndicating these things to YouTube. So, well, I'm just making a YouTube video of development now, which works too. If there is someone watching, say hi in the chat. Right. I guess we really wanted to kind of have a big kind of decline, a cliff we can jump off of. Yeah, let's try that. Yeah, let's put it on top of the tree. Oops. Enemy building gets hit by lightning. See, that's better. It's not great, but it's better. And actually the scrunch response needs to be This is still not working as well as I'd like it to. It's probably because that shouldn't be mass.max. Right, so it's going for whatever's further down, the extension of its limb or the ground. Which is the wrong way around. So let's try this again. Ah, let's just make it bounce on the tree again. I'm not sure that's an improvement. Oh god, no, it's not. Oh wow. Okay, whatever I just put in, it was very stupid. Look at that. It's it's performing some kind of traditional Hungarian folk dance. Boing 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 boing. Okay. Don't do that then. So don't do that. Okay, let's go over the logic again. Is this line correct? Okay, so we're checking. Where's the ground position? And if the ground is further down than we currently position our foot, then by default we reach towards it. So we set the Y position of our foot to be whatever smaller this or this. And actually this okay, okay, the reason why it didn't matter that this was a coding error is that this branch never gets executed if the ground's that far down now, because this will happen first. This branch will always happen because it's too far away. Okay. So let's see if we can make this less broken, yeah? Is this what's causing the bouncing? Well, I mean, let's just take it out. Let's see if we can still trigger the Hungarian folk dance. I'm just gonna right. I mean, this is the truly horrifying thing, right, about doing promotion for your game, which is if you think of something funny, then you kind of rush to Twitter and say, oh look, it's just sort of this funny thing, gonna quickly type this funny thing in so my followers will laugh and like me and buy my game. That's just kind of how it is. And I'm doing this in this like really transparent way, like, yeah, I'm going to go on Twitter on the stream and type stuff in. So yeah, real game dev transparency. You can see how faked out it all is. I'm actually really boring. I just think of things to put on Twitter, so it looks like I'm a witty person. Right. That small moment of like hideous self-examination over. Let's see how the land chips now behave. It's currently in some kind of karate move. Yeah, so for like the reach behavior is essentially correct for minor things. For major things, my guess is that what was happening with the Hungarian folk dance is, now you see, if I do this, that's just it. This is a theory. The theory is that now the land ship's here, but this foot is on this X position, right? And if you actually look up, then all the way up here, that's like, it could be in the same X position, have itself all the way up there. So if some calculation goes wrong and it actually thinks that it can bounce on this, then the whole thing is just sort of bouncing off the top of this tree, and that might be the reason for the folk dance, or it may not. But certainly I can't trigger it anymore, so let's just do the reverse. Let's see if walking up to a tree like that is what triggers Hungarian folk dance. And then there's going to be a short commercial break, where I guess I can't play Swan Lake, despite the fact that I think it's funny. I guess I'm going to look for a version of Swan Lake that is out of copyright or something. I mean, I could just hum it to you. Okay, maybe not. Turns out I can't hum it to you. I'm not allowed. Okay, let's see about Hungarian folk dance, the triggering. Didn't do quite the same thing, but it's a variant Hungarian folk dance. Definitely that limb is performing part of it. Okay, so what this is doing is that it's oscillating wildly in between taking a step and then resetting into the scrunch position. Okay, so that's something to consider. That if we're in scrunch mode, we should just skip. Surprised it's not doing that yet, but I think that's why. Okay, so that's part of Hungarian folk dance. But look, that was good. That was good. It scrunched as it was dropping, and that looked a lot more realistic. But I want to see the proper folk dance here. Maybe the tree's not tall enough. Yeah, okay, this is actually, I mean, this is correct except for this one limb that's having its little folk dance problem. So it actually balancing on top of here, that's okay. I mean, it looks stupid for a variety of reasons, mostly because it's balancing on some leaves. So we need to stop it doing this repeated fruitless attempt at taking a step. And another thing that would be nice, just pausing the game for a moment, is this limb here could really kind of move there and something, but it's a bit of a mess, frankly. I mean, I think the answer here is just like, what should be happening is it should step on there temporarily and the leaf should break and it will fall down again, and then that will look fine. So I think it's not worth overthinking that. So mostly I just need to fix this twitchy leg dance thing here, which I'm going to do in a little moment. For now, there's going to be a short commercial break. Not actually a commercial break, just a break. I can play you some Airships music. How about I play you a different Airships track? That might be less awful. Let's see if I can manage to do that. Yeah. because I can stream these. I mean, Curtis can tell me if he doesn't want me to stream the music for the game that he made, but I imagine he would like me to do that. Oh yes, so Curtis Schweitzer is the guy who made this airship music. I'm really happy he made it because I really like it. I'm really happy he made it because he was really willing to kind of take a gamble on this game, because I mean he started making the music like a year ago or something, and a year ago like the game had sold like 5 copies, and it was this like visually garish thing. And he was willing to make music for that, so thank you, Curtis. Right, I will be back soon.